Chatette time. Now, this Chatette is going to be about, well, it's going to be a little bit ranty and a little bit beggy and a little bit please, please, please type of thing. But the general gist of it is this. I've been having a bit of a think about where I'd like to go next with the collection, in terms of my consoles and things like that. Now, the obvious answer is to go down the road of just obviously getting as many machines as possible. That's the obvious choice, right? That's the obvious solution. That's what everybody does who collects hardware, right? It's just every possible system imaginable. Now, for me, I want some credibility with my collection in so much as I want my collection to have some kind of symbol, some kind of meaning, some kind of banner that illustrates what that collection is. Now, the idea behind, well, when I initially started collecting, what happened was I would just get the consoles that meant something to me in my childhood. It then sort of progressed onto any kind of console that had a quirk or something about it that made it interesting. And then it went down to whatever I could get my hands on. Now I want to give it a little bit of focus. I want to think to myself, well, what am I actually going to play and what am I actually going to get benefit from? In terms of my systems, the ones that I would play the least are, ironically enough, the Master System. I don't actually play that as much as the other systems. And what else? The PlayStation 1. I don't hardly play that at all. Which is bizarre if you think about it, but that's me down to a T, isn't it? But what I want to do is I want to get some focus on that collection now. I want to start thinking to myself, what is good about my collection? What is filler, basically? What is making up the numbers? Now, the absolute pinnacle of the collections in terms of what they symbolise, what they mean, what they are valued at, is obviously the PCFX and the Virtual Boy. They're actually right at the top, right? Now, there are other machines that I've got which have some value, whichever way you slice it. For example, the Neo Geo CDZ, obviously that is beautiful, that's a good machine. I could get, potentially because of the quality of it, I could potentially get a couple of £100 for that, theoretically. Obviously, maybe that's pie in the sky, but to give you some example, I keep my stuff in good condition, as you can imagine. So obviously, although I use it, I don't batter it, so to speak. Now, sporadically across my collection, there are things that maybe have dings here, pans there, whatever. My NES isn't perfect. It's good, very good for the age, but not perfect. Xbox Crystal, there's no way I could get good value for that if I was to sell it, because it's got a hole in the top of it. It's a perfectly circular hole, but a hole nevertheless. So the way I'm thinking at the moment is I want to give the collection a little cherry on it. I want to put a little cherry on the top of the collection. I want to say this is what would make this collection perfect. This is what gives that collection value. Now, I need a machine that I'm going to want to play on, but is kind of interesting and got a bit of a story to it. So for me, it boils down to one simple thing. Going to the land of the rising sun and seeing what they have to offer. Now, in Japan, from the Japanese side, there's about 3 consoles that I'd be very interested in. First one, we all know 2 of them. Sharp X68K, that is like, yeah, please. Then there's the Neo Geo AES, which would be fantastic to own that. That would just be beautiful for me. That would be a very special time. And then the absolute big fish that, well, I call it a big fish because it is the most realistically viable option for me as it stands at the moment, would be the FM TOWNS MARTY. Now, the FM TOWNS MARTY is going to give me something very, very special in terms of arcade conversions, unique games, and Western games with a kind of a Japanese slant. For example, I don't know if you know this, but there's things like Ultimate Underworld on there, things like Ultima Series, things like that. There's Monkey Island, I think, on there as well, Zack McCracken. There are a few games that have been converted to the FM TOWNS, and it's very surprising what is on there, and all with a bit of a Japanese flavour in there. So in terms of a machine, it's got a lot of viable options. Now the FM TOWNS MARTY is basically a consolised FM TOWNS, right? So obviously you've got that floppy disk drive in there as well. So if there are floppy disk, I think there might be some applications on floppy disk games, and I'm not entirely sure, I can't remember. But I'll be able to play those also. So there's a little bit of freedom there, there's a little bit, there's a reason to collect it. And that's the main thing for me now. That's the hugest thing for me. Now, I'm toying with the idea of bringing one in from Japan. I want to import one. However, as you can imagine, with that comes some additional costing. And what I'm really sort of curious about, and what I maybe want to sort of swing your way, is it viable to do that? I mean, would it be worth it in the long run? I mean, if I ultimately want one, I don't mind paying a few extra pounds here and there to bring it over here and know that it's going to be in my hands and beautiful. But is it viable? Is it worth it? I mean, for me, I just want an FM Towns Marty. I know that's maybe selfish and self-centred and all that, but I want one. And my brain won't let me rest until I get one. It's gotten to that stage. Basically, I want to get something that's going to be special for me, and I want that to be special. I know that I would get the most out of it. If I spent a 3-figure sum on it, it wouldn't matter so much to me, because I'm going to get something out of it. However, is it going to be worth it? So I'm going to really ask you this question, and I'm going to do it on Twitter, and I'm going to basically batter this question home to anybody that would be willing to do it. I would want, very simply, an FM Towns Marty. Doesn't have to be boxed, doesn't have to be pristine. It'd be fantastic if it was. It'd be fantastic if it was in a great condition. It needs to work, obviously. I'm going to be playing it a lot. So I want to pay money and do that. Now, I shouldn't say it, but I am willing to discuss some kind of good price for the seller. I'm willing to discuss things, put it that way. I wouldn't just give, I wouldn't just go for rock bottom. I'd want to discuss something that's going to be flexible for everybody. So with that in mind, I'm going to throw it open to you guys. I'm going to literally say this. What is going to be the best solution for me to get an FM Towns Marty? What is going to give me what I've asked for in the fastest, most convenient way? Do you guys have one that you'd maybe want to sell? Do you guys have one that you'd maybe willing to consider, learning, trading, selling, whatever? I would love to play an FM Towns Marty. I would love to own an FM Towns Marty. That is ultimately the most viable option for me. That is what I want. And I've reached a point now where it's just like, it's grinding on me. I need it sort of thing. So for me, it's as simple as this. Is there a way of getting an FM Towns Marty sensibly and straightforwardly and on my lap, so to speak, ASAP? If you guys have got any kind of leads, any kind of information that would be of any benefit to me, I would love to get involved. I'd love to be part of it. I don't, I'm willing to front it with literally cold hard cash. I'm willing to pay if we get, if I get some kind of concrete leads and some kind of concrete information that's going to lead to something FM Towns Marty related landing on my lap. That is what I'm after. So if you guys can think of something that would be accommodating for that, then I would love to hear it. That is what I'm after. So there you go, guys. I absolutely am totally now obsessed totally with FM Towns Marty. So there you go, guys. So with that in mind, I'm just throw it open to you guys and let me know what you think. And thanks ever so much for watching. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for doing what you do in terms of the videos and on Twitter and on my WordPress and on everything. So I really appreciate it, guys. All the best. And I hope I get something out of this. See you in a bit.